All right, so here we go. So today's lesson has to deal with how to actually help people color a character who are actually colorblind. So if you're colorblind, we understand that there's a difficulty in trying to really nail down the quality and the colors that you're going for. I understand that it can be very, very difficult. So the point of this particular piece that my friend Wayne drew, he was wanting to make his character feel a bit more Italian in skin tone. So I took one of the more famous Italian actors, and what we're going to do is we're going to match skin tone. So what I'm going to do is, this Al Pacino, hit Control J, and so I have two layers of the same. I'm going to do filter, noise, median, all right? And what it's going to do is going to blur his face up, and what this is going to do is it's going to really give me some solid colors to just sample from. Maybe something like this. So I'm just going to go with my eyedropper tool, okay? Now this is my Al Pacino layer. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer for color palette, and I'm going to hit B, and what we're doing is we're going to look for 5 colors. I want to make sure I got a hard brush on and my opacity is 100%. Okay, so there's a light color there. So something medium, okay? We know we got a shadow color, something in here, all right? So how about we look for something over here? This is our good F3 color right there, and then this is a good transition. Beautiful. And then over here, by the way, this is going to be an accent, I think. Whoops, where did I see it? Maybe it was here. Yeah, there's a good transition color between here to play off. Okay, so that's skin, right? And then of course, lips are a little bit different. So let's go ahead and do the same kind of thing again. So Control J, filter, noise, median, and we'll go ahead and go a little bit less on that. Yeah, there we go, something like that. So we'll grab our color palette again, okay? Try to do the same thing with those 5 colors. Now I understand Dwayne's got a very specific style, what's going on here, but this is, for the future as well. So by the way, I really like this color here. So let's go ahead and grab that. Let's go shadow color. Let's go lighter transition color. Okay, and then let's go here. And then I'll grab that. Now this might be accent, the one that I picked previously. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Pacino without. See, this is a little bit brighter. So sometimes you got to sample the pixel straight from the image. That's a little bit better. All right, so there's a color palette. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off Mr. Pacino, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and try and nail this down. So what I suggest is Dwayne did a great job when he drew his character. He kept his lines separate from his base colors. He also has darker skin tone here, okay? And he used a bit of a shade of blue, grayish blue tint for shadows, which is not a bad idea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and color correct the whole thing. Before I started this video, I created a mask of the character's skin tone. So what I'm gonna do is, first things first, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off all his highlight layers. I just want a nice base color. And I can do one of 2 things. I can do let's see, let's go ahead and select base. We can do layer, new adjustment layer, hue saturation, right? We can go ahead and try and guess what his skin tone is, like based off of this F3 color, right? So, we're about here, then we gotta desaturate it and go darker. Probably put a little bit more red in it. Maybe saturate a little bit more, go darker. Yeah, something like that. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Or, because I have a selection already, control click, and then I can just basically leave his layer alone. There's nothing stopping me from leaving his layer alone. Just make a brand new layer real quick. Sample my F3 color, edit fill. Whoops, excuse me. Not edit stroke, but edit fill, okay? And then also, I gotta keep in mind that I gotta get his diamonds out of here. So let's go ahead and do this. I know his eye color doesn't count. Okay, so he looks pretty dark skinned, right? Yep, I understand. So the next thing he does is he already has you know, some shadow put in here already. So let's try doing some of that. Make a new layer. Grab some of this color here. Edit fill. Okay, so there's a good technique there. And so now what we got to do is really got to brighten his face up. You know, pull in this nice olive skin color here. So there's a couple things that we can do. We can control click our base color again and deselect our shadow color. And you can do a select, modify, contract. Let's do something like 3 pixels. Nope, I was gonna do maybe select, modify, contract. Let's do 13 pixels. There we go, okay? And make a new layer. Let's grab this color here, edit fill. Okay. This is actually, believe it or not, this is what I was going for. So now what we can do is we can do a filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and start adjusting the colors here. Control J this a couple times. Whoops. Oh, I see. Oh, I got to get out his parenting here. I'm in his parent tree. Let's get out of there. Boo. All right. Well, I guess we're leaving it alone for now. I don't care. I'm trying to do this really quickly. I gotta leave the house. So, so what I'm gonna do is I'm checking out where his shadows are. So currently, it kind of feels like I'm doing a bit of a inner drop shadow with this darker skin tone here. Go ahead and brighten it up just by simply lowering the opacity. And this guy here, like I was trying to do, let's grab layer 15, merge it together, merge. Man, I really can't merge right now. Why can't I merge my layers? Are you kidding me right now? Strange. Okay. Right. So more filter, Gaussian blur. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. There we go. So that's already starting to blend. So what we can do with that nice layer that I had beforehand, this one here, we can actually brighten this up to this highlight color. So let's go ahead and try control clicking this and do an edit fill in here. Okay, get a nice highlight color in here. There we go. And that that's a good start on what we're doing for this guy. Let me check the yeah, see, we're getting there already. So the only other thing we really have to pay attention to is the shadow color. So go ahead and control click the base. And by the way, I'm using my mouse. I don't have my Wacom tablet active right now. So let's go ahead and just get some of the darker shadow colors in here. Let that light kind of roll off of him. Okay, and just checking. Looks good. I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. All right, so he's got some really nice cheekbone highlight over here, which is a bit brighter. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this highlight color and just pepper that in there. Go ahead and smudge that around a little bit. You know, this is just real quick tips and tricks. This is not supposed to be like a super amazing, awesome piece, like right in the moment of what I'm doing. This is just to communicate a point. Like you can do a lot with a color sample tool, all right? And you know, as you can tell, I'm doing this with a mouse. So you know, excuses. Well, I don't have a Wacom tablet. You know, when back in the day, we didn't have Wacom tablets. We had to do everything with a mouse anyways. So, you know, just got to deal with what you got. Not complain about what you don't got. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. There's something like that right there. That'll work. And then, okay, lip color real quick. Let's go ahead and grab that darker tone. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new layer for lips. I'm just going to put all of this on one layer. Let's go ahead and grab my medium tone. My opacity is 100%, by the way. All right. Let's go ahead and grab transition tone. Another transition tone. And then just smudge it together just a little bit. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, and then top lip is usually a different color than a bottom lip. So let's go ahead and just put a little bit of love in there. Right about there. And that should do it for that. Now, what I like to do with the lip color too is, that shadow's a little hard. So let's go ahead and blend that up a little bit better. Okay, that's much better. So what I like to do too is I like to take this, you know, this either one of these lighter colors, and I like to make a new layer for the most part and go to the ear with it and just put a little bit in the ear, put a little bit in the nose, and then play with my blending mode. Sometimes I get some good effects in here because, you know, see, like that, this is good for the ear. Let's see, what else can we do? Actually, that wasn't too bad. Was that overlay? Vivid light. Let's see what happens when we kill that. See, just a little bit of color tone differentiality, and then of course, you know, we gotta deal with the ear itself. We really haven't given the love to the ear like we should. So let's go ahead and add some color. Whoops, am I in the overlay layer? I am. Okay, let's go ahead and put this in here. Okay, there's that. Just smudge that around. Do 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 do. All right, so there's that, and then you know, put a little bit of shadow color. So let's go grab our shadow. Put some of this inside of our ear in here. Normal. Let's see. Turn off our overlay real quick. All right, something's going on here. Okay, let's grab this layer then. Why am I coming out dark like that? Oh, that is the shadow color. That's why. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. There we go. And add another little bit in here. Good transitory colors. All right, so now we got some pop. And let's grab a little bit of this highlight color. All right. Just put a little bit of highlight on the ear over here. Maybe some right there. Maybe a little bit on the back side. Get some of that oily oil in there. Okay. Get rid of some of this stuff on the diamond here. All right, and then let's go back to our oil layer, which was where? Oh, there you go. Okay, and smudge that in again. Okay, so that's probably pretty okay. Let's turn our overlay back on. So it's our little subsurface scatter layer there. See what happens if we drop it down one. Oh, much better. Okay, now on the nose, do I need as much? It just kind of adds, you know. So let's go ahead and drop some color in the eyeball there. So I know a lot of you pro artists, you guys don't use 47 layers like I do, which is great. More of a 3D guy, but these are just tips and tricks, okay? So again, all I'm doing is using the same colors that we pulled from the skin, and I'm doing some complementary stuff, right? So we know that there's a shadow on the eye, and I'm going to take this brighter color, I'm going to put it inside the iris here, but I'm also going to try and take this, and I know my yellows, right? So if I go to hue saturation and I pull up from red and I try to go yellow, you know, I know this is hard for you, so I'll try to go over this. This is red. 37 is about orange. So then we go 62 is yellow. You can actually stay between 54 and 62. 114 is green. 182 is cyan. And 230 is blue. And you've got magenta, which is 299. And you've got red again, which is 0. All right, so that will probably help you guys, you know, move your tool, move your color picker tool a little bit to know which colors are located where. I don't know if that's ever been taught to you guys before. So I like to, changing subject again, back to coloring, I like to add orange and yellow into the eye color. It's it just kind of makes things pop a bit. Learned that from Gen Z, actually. Okay, so, and then so from this distance it looks pretty dope. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit D for white. I want a white layer, so on top of my black layer here, I'm just going to drop in a highlight color of white, like right there. And then of course we got to get his sclera going, so let's go ahead and color his sclera. So now what do we do for that? Well, we've got his bright skin tone, so we can just stay there. Okay, that's his highlight color there. Now I can take a little bit of color from his lips, kind of, excuse me, kind of trace the outline of his eye again, and then I can go white one more time, and then probably something like that. Yeah, something like that would work out pretty nicely. And then, you know, going back to his darker colors, so let's go deal with his eyebrows. So this is eye, you know, and I think that's his skin there. Okay, so that's ear and lips. All right, and this is subsurface scatter. This is probably F1, F2. This is definitely F3. This F2, F3. I know that I've got a solid F3 color there. And then, of course, my shadow color, this is actually SH. So I'm sorry, this is F4 there. No, F3, I said that right. It's F1, F2, F3, highlight shadow. So that's really where things are at. Okay, eyebrows real quick. Brows. Okay, grabbing his F4 color, I'm sorry, F3 color here. So I did not make a mask for this, so I'm just going to go ahead and color this by hand. And what I'm doing is I'm holding shift down and I'm clicking around kind of in a circular pattern here, and I'm just kind of filling his eyebrow in. Let's go ahead and do this to the other side. All right, now Pacino, he's got very black hair. If you look at his highlight color, though, it will be brown. So it's a bit of a desaturated brown. So there's your color code for this. It's RGB is 67, 58, 51. Okay, so let's use some of that. Maybe up here. Let's get a little pixel brush in there. Doom, doo, 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 doo. All right, so let's go grab our darker color. You know, this again, I haven't even really sampled much from his hair, but there's nothing stopping you from actually sampling his hair. You know, again, this is all doing by hand. I'm not using a Wacom tablet here. Just kind of going with what I'm going with. That's a pretty good color there. And then, you know, his hair color, you could do the same thing. I'm just going to run through the steps real quick, one more again. This is well, I'm just labeling. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'll just leave it alone. F1. Okay, so I got a little bit too much highlight on the neck down here, so I'm going to try to smudge that out. There we go, much better. Okay, hair, same kind of thing. You know, it's going to be really hard to run a median on this one. So if I hit Control J again, just over here, and do filter, noise, median, it's going to be very, very tough to try to find your 3 colors in here. It can be done, okay? So if I make a new layer real quick, hit B, I can sample. He's actually got a really, really dark blue right here. Whoops, gotta go hard brush. Okay, so if I select here, look, I'm at 16, 24, 33. See, my blue is at 33, okay? So that's the darkest shadow color. I've got this burnt umber here, another dark color here, and then we're starting to get a little brighter, okay? And then the brightest color is this. Let's go brighter. There. So there's the color palette for his hair. And CP, color palette, hair. And that pretty much wraps this video up, guys. I hope you learned something today. So this is our Al Pacino skin tone here. Pretty darn close. I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. And I could probably remove a little bit of the subsurface scatter up here and keep it in the nose. Let's go ahead and do that a little bit. But not bad for a day's work with a mouse. There we go. Keep it right there at the nose length. Okay, keep it in the ear. I'm sure Mr. Tony over here will not be using this dead-on palette. He'll probably do something else, but I just want to let you guys know. Pick your 5 colors. Okay. Let's go ahead and do CP lips. CP lips. Let's get that up here. Do another. Oh. It's lips and skin. Skin and lips. There you go. And CP hair. And that's all you need, guys. So shalom, shalom.